If you're trying to decide between Brookfield Country Club in Roswell and Windward in Alpharetta, there's one difference most people completely overlook, and it's the reason some buyers love where they end up and others quietly regret it. By the way, we help people just like you every single week who want to move or sell in the Atlanta area, and we'd love to help you too. The best way to reach us is by calling or texting at 770-626-5712 or booking an appointment using the link below. You'll find everything you need in the description. And make sure you stick around because at the end, we're going to break down exactly which type of buyer should avoid Windward, even though it's one of the most popular communities in Alpharetta. So let's start here because this is where most people get it wrong. Brookfield Country Club in Roswell and Windward in Alpharetta are both well-known, both very desirable, and both located in the Alpharetta and Roswell area. But they are not interchangeable. They offer two completely different lifestyles. Brookfield is more traditional. It's centered around a country club experience. It feels established, familiar, consistent. Windward is something else entirely. It's a master planned community built around variety and lifestyle. It's bigger, more spread out, more dynamic. So before we even talk about homes or price points, you need to ask yourself, do you want a structured country club lifestyle or a broader, more flexible community experience? Because that one decision will guide everything else.
So now let's talk about location and how that impacts your daily life. Brookfield sits closer to Roswell. It feels a bit more tucked into an established area. It's quieter, it has less through traffic, a more residential feel. Windward and Alpharetta, on the other hand, is right in the heart of Alpharetta's growth. It's closer to Avalon, closer to the tech corridor, it's closer to Georgia 400. So from a convenience standpoint, Windward tends to win, but that also means more activity, more movement, and at times more traffic. So the question becomes, do you want convenience and access or a slightly more removed residential feel?
All right, so let's talk about these two great communities and what does the community feel in each one of these?
And so this is where the difference really starts to show up. In Brookfield, it feels like a neighborhood. It's smaller, it's more contained, it's easier to understand quickly. People tend to know each other and there's a rhythm to the daily life there. Windward is much larger. It's made up of about 4 to 5 multiple sections or little subdivisions. Each has its own feel, its own price point, and its own personality. There are plenty of trails and parks, pocket parks, and even a private lake. It almost feels like a small city within Alpharetta. So emotionally, this becomes, do you want something simple and connected, or do you want something expansive with more options?
All right, so let's talk about the homes and the architecture in each one of these amazing communities.
Yes, because this is now where people tend to lean one way or the other. So in Brookfield, you're looking at homes primarily built in the 1980s and 1990s. But many of those homes have been updated. You'll find larger lots, mature landscaping, and homes with character. There's a sense of history in Brookfield. In Windward, you'll see a much wider range of different types of home. There actually are no townhomes within the community of Windward, but there are townhomes surrounding the Windward community that are actually not part of the Windward Association, because Windward has mostly single family homes, executive properties, and lakefront homes. Some of these homes are newer, some of them are updated, and some of them are still have their original finishes to them. So the key difference is Brookfield offers consistency in feel, Windward offers a variety of options. And depending upon what you value, that can swing your decision very quickly.
It sure can change your decision quickly.
Let's talk about price and, more importantly, value. Brookfield typically offers a lower entry price point. You can get into a golf community with strong fundamentals and a more approachable price point. And that's a value for a lot of people. Windward, on the other hand, has a wider range of price points. You can enter at a lower price point in a smaller home, or you could go all the way up to a luxury lakefront property. So the homes range in price generally from about $600,000 all the way up to $6 million. But overall, you're paying for a premium location and for the amenities of Windward. So the real question becomes, do you want a focused value in a specific lifestyle, or do you want flexibility across a wider range of options?
Yeah, which really segues us into the amenities and the lifestyle of the community.
This is one of the bigger differences between Brookfield, which is centered around a country club, golf, tennis, swim. It's structured, it's member-driven, your social life will revolve around the club. Windward is more flexible. There are amenities, but they're more like at a menu pricing. The standout feature of Windward, though, is the lake. There's quiet boating on that lake. There are electric boats, but you can do kayaking, and there are walking trails around that lake. It's less about one central hub. It's more about how you choose to use the community. So you need to ask yourself, do you want a built-in lifestyle or one you can shape yourself?
Well, then going into social life and community energy.
Well, this is where a lot of people don't think deeply enough, and it really does matter, because in Brookfield, it's easy to plug in, the club creates a connection, events bring people together, and you naturally meet other people. In Windward, it really depends more on you because it's larger, it's more spread out, and your experience can really vary on where you're living within the community. So the question really becomes, do you want social life built in, or are you comfortable creating it yourself?
Yeah, so let's talk about the buyers that are moving into these two different communities.
Right, so both communities attract great buyers, but they're slightly different. Brookfield tends to attract move-up buyers, long-term homeowners, people who are looking for stability. Whereas in Windward, it attracts relocation buyers, professionals working in the tech corridor in that area, and people who prioritize location and flexibility. So part of your decision is going to be, who do you want your neighbors to be? Because that shapes your experience more than people expect.
All right, so resale and seller strategy for each community.
Yeah, so this really matters whether you're thinking about it or not. Brookfield has a smaller, more defined buyer pool. So when it comes time to sell, pricing and positioning become very, very critical. Windward has a strong name recognition. It draws a large audience, especially from relocation buyers. That can make resale a bit more predictable. So again, it's not about which is better. It's about understanding how will this perform when I eventually sell.
All right, so what is the biggest mistake that we see?
So let's go back to the beginning, the mistake that I mentioned in the beginning, and that was people choosing between these two, focusing on the house instead of the lifestyle. They fall in love with finishes and a renovated kitchen or a price point, and they ignore what their day-to-day life will actually feel like. And that's where regret starts, because you can update a house, but you can't change the community it's in.
Okay, so who should avoid Windward?
The buyers who tend to regret Windward are the ones who really wanted simplicity. If you don't want to think about which section to choose from, if you don't want to think about a large spread out environment, Windward can start to feel a little overwhelming, even though it looks great on paper. So if you value ease, clarity, a tighter knit feeling community, Brookfield might actually be a better fit for you.
Yeah, so you always have to ask yourself questions and figure out what's the best fit for you. And we're here to guide you in that direction.
Right.
So at the end of the day, Brookfield Country Club in Roswell and Windward in Alpharetta are both incredible communities. They really are. They're built for very different lifestyles. And if the right choice isn't about which one is better, it's about which one fits what you want. your life to feel like every single day. So if you're thinking about making the move from Windward or to Brookfield or vice versa, or anywhere in the Atlanta area, we'd love to help you make that decision and guide you in the right decision. You can reach us, text us, or call us at 770-626-5712, or you can click on one of the links below. We also have great information about the Atlanta area that we put on our YouTube every single week. So subscribe to our channel. We'd love to see you here. Everyone have a great day. And whether it's Windward or Brookfield Country Club.